it's psychological preparation for people to know that if you want to be a good citizen and you want to be a patriot, you have to go to the wars. And people go along with that, and they don't want to be called unpatriotic. And I think we all sense and understand and may have some empathy for that, but it's wrong. It's deception, and it's part of this thing called artificial intelligence. They come in and they lie through their teeth, and it's all artificial. But the artificialness of it, is such that what you hear there, it might be disinformation, and they have to twist it around. If an individual is guilty of disinformation, have you ever noticed they might blame their opposition for doing exactly what they're doing? They reverse it, and so there's a lot of fakery. This gets down to the whole issue of seeking truth. In the big picture, we seek truth as we come to events like this, and when we run for office and we write and talk, and so many people here have their own way of spreading a message. So yes, that is real good. But what we need, though, is some people really understanding the issues, because that is what will finally get people to change their minds rather than waiting. One of the lines that was helpful for me in the campaigning, they would say, "Yeah, Ron, that's okay. We're with you on this, but it's so complicated. Well, how do you stop these wars?" And I said, "You just marched in, we can just march home." But now I've changed that a little bit. We shorten that. We have to anticipate. Just don't send them in at all.
Yeah, that's right.
There's such a fallacy, and this is part of the propaganda thing, that is so necessary, not for patriotic reasons, but for other reasons. And there's always an excuse. The one that annoys me the most, or at least close to the most, is this argument. They'll say, "Well, we need a good war right now. We're having a recession. Have a war and we'll get out of the recession." And this is a lingering of a foolhardy idea that the World War II got us out of the Great Depression. That's stupid. It wasn't true at all. The Depression got worse. Besides, we sent hundreds of thousands of people over getting shot at and killed, and they say, "Oh, the war's good, that'll get us out of our depression." So there's all kinds of excuses like that, and they don't mention the many things that have already been mentioned at this conference, that there's ulterior motives and like profits, and we're getting too many of these special groups, like the military-industrial complex. We have the pharmaceutical-industrial complex, the medical-industrial complex, the whole works. What we need to do is have a people's independence, and they're the ones who should be looked at. And another little rule that I think we should follow is that, and this is one word, I like to narrow down my philosophy. And the other word that I like is voluntarism. Wouldn't that be a wonderful world to live in, that if you apply voluntarism, which is nonviolence, and you have voluntarism, what do you mean? Does that mean you can go to the store and buy what you want? No, voluntarism means that everything is done when it involves two groups or two people voluntarily. Both sides have to agree. Otherwise, you avoid it. You can't force anybody to do anything. And you know what would happen? Peace would break out. So therefore, you have to have the hoodlums up there making it so that it's not voluntary. And then somebody gets to write a lot of regulations, and they get to do all the nonsense they do, and then they bankrupt the country. So that's the problem. I think voluntarism is just a great idea. And the other thing is when government comes to knocking on your door, that is the tough thing. and they will tell you one reason why they're doing this, because we're on the side of truth and the side of democracy and all these things. I work on the assumption of the issue of truth. I think is very, very important. That's what we're seeking here. That's why you're here. But we know the truth. We generally agree with peace is good and war is bad. So we're pretty good on that. But we have to realize that a lot of other people, have to say that a lot of other people don't know much about it. I have a personal belief that we as individuals also seek for excellence and virtue. If we accept voluntarism and we accept this promotion of excellence and virtue, what would happen with that? If that happened, the government would be minuscule and they would be much better and maybe a little more virtuous. Thank you very much.
So much.
Our last